things like this just all happening at once, coming at me, nourishing me, as I said, and egging me on to get this video project done. And sometimes it would really drain me, not just because it was so labor intensive and doing all the makeup, and I didn't even do Jack Albertson, Shelley Winter's husband, in the film just because I didn't want to do the old age makeup again and again. I thought, screw that, it's hard enough being Shelley Winters and trying to remember a response to one character that I taped 6 months back, and on and on and on. It just became this monster. And I would have equipment failure. And I can't say that I was so distressed about that because I got it fixed, but there's nothing like this old 80s editing equipment. I used this camcorder to shoot it all and to edit it with, hooked up to a VCR. Very, very cheap, very low budget. I spent more on the confetti than I did on the technical for this, and I'm not a technical person. And I could get into a whole thing about the U word, upgrade, only because as an artist, it's frequently assumed that a lot of the photo montages and so on that I do are done on the computer using Photoshop, and it's just not true. I don't understand Photoshop. I don't want to. I like doing it the old-fashioned way, cutting and pasting, and same with video, assemble editing, cutting and pasting essentially with old equipment that I understand. They say, oh, but it would be so much easier. But you know what? Art shouldn't be easy. A friend told me this just recently. He said that would be like asking a painter to quit using those fine sable hair brushes and use the new ones because they're synthetic and they're better. Just go ahead and use Paint Shop Pro because it's faster. No, 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 no. I'm a purist when it comes to that. As far as my spin on things, I strive for accuracies with Poseidon. As far as having Stella Stevens silver platforms, gotta have those. Remember those things when she's climbing the ladder wearing those ridiculous platforms? Well, I found some and they fit me and I love them. And inaccuracies, things that probably shouldn't be there that are. Because I love the incongruous. Oh, and these here are my homemade Poseidon Adventure action figures residing in my shrine here with my autograph photos. I've met about 2/3 of the stars from the film. I'd have to say my favorite person that I got to meet was the man who fell on the skylight. Above all, I'd rather have met him than Gene Hackman, because he is so key. I was terrified of him when I was a child, and here he was, still this handsome, vital man who did this stunt and got paid a measly wage, but gets really good residuals. And there's a lot of neat extras. There's India Lady, the one who sits at the captain's table and just nods graciously, and so many of us call her India Lady for lack of a better name, and she was at a recent luncheon reunion and had no idea that she had this incredible fan base. But it's like that, and they all know that I'm doing this project. Pamela Sue Martin, played Susan, has told me repeatedly, you are probably having more fun doing this than we did during the real filming. And I can say, to some extent, I have, but it has just been a bitch. Oh, a bitch. All those videotapes, if you can see the stacks and stacks of accumulated tapes, a lot of them not labeled. I didn't use a script. I blew off doing a storyboard. I mostly just shit and giggled this thing and made it up as I went along. It's true. I mean, certain things, yes, I did try to keep intact, but people would suggest things, they'd get added in. But pretty much everything I wanted in the final cut did make it in. So now you're saying, well, why did this take you 7 years to do? It's just over an hour long. What's the thing? Well, I'm playing everybody, and I, like most people, would occasionally have real jobs and stuff get in the way, and I'd burn out on it. But I didn't have a cast of thousands or camera people at my disposal like I might have had, say, in college. So I was lucky if I could draft a friend for a precious 20 minutes to do a handheld camera shot or throw plates at me. The rest of the time, the camera was stationary on a tripod, and I was doing it all by myself in the middle of summer, late at night, whatever. And it'll look cheap, and it'll be weird. This isn't supposed to be like an airplane takeoff ha-ha thing. It's just my weird cathartic need to reenact these characters that have been going through my head since this very influential picture from my childhood was first seen. So there's catharsis here, there's nostalgia at play here. It's all a very personal piece. And like those details that you don't see, I know they're there. So I feel good about it from that standpoint. And I feel good, too, that this is being seen on the 30th anniversary of the real Poseidon Adventure. This year is the 30th. And for that reason, I'm glad that I finally got this thing done. So I'm bored, so without any further ado, here is my 7 years in the making version of the Purseidon Adventure.